Hello and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs and I am back with you for the 12 weeks of Christmas. This is week 8. So let's jump right in. So I am going to just show you how I measured my cardstock here, and I have two A2 bases, one's white and one's black. And then I have a black mat and a white panel, and then on the other one I'm going to have a white mat and a black panel. And each one is 1/8 of an inch smaller than the other. So the mat is 1/8 of an inch smaller than the base, and the panel is 1/8 of an inch smaller than the mat. And here I have the Altenew Festive Foliage stamp set, and I've just taken out the big image in that. This stamp set is actually a clearance item. You can actually get it right now on scrapbook.com for, I believe, 15 American dollars. So that's a pretty good deal, I think so. And you can go and check that out if you're interested. I have a listing for it just down below. And I really wanted to do a black, white, and gold Christmas card. And now this is a pretty simple card, really easy to mass produce if you wanted to make multiple. So I'm going to make two because I wanted to show you my favorite gold ink. This is the Golden Glitz Delicata ink, and I love this. And it stamps beautifully on white, but it also stamps on black cardstock. I believe it would stamp on any colored cardstock, actually. But for this example, I am going to show it on white and then black. So I'm just going to stamp it in the exact same place. I did use my Misti lines on the door to kind of line it up to make sure it was straight. And then I just stamped it down on both panels. Both cards are going to be the exact same. I'm using the same design for both cards, but I really wanted to show you how beautiful this ink stamps out and how wonderful it is in the golden color. There are other colors. Sadly, I don't currently own any of them though, so I just have the golden one, but I'm going to have to invest in a couple other colors because I just think it's just stunning how this turns out. So then I did also pull out a sentiment from the bottom of that stamps, and it's a little crooked, you can see. I think it, when I pulled it off the acetate, it didn't come off very well, and it kind of bent it a little bit, but that's okay because I'm going to use the door of the Misti to straighten it. Because there's lines on the door of the Misti, I just kind of played with it until it was straight, and I aligned it up underneath my tree, and then I'm just going to stamp it down in that same Golden Glitz ink. And now you could have absolutely stamped this the same time as you stamped the tree. I wasn't sure what sentiment I wanted, so I kind of waited until my tree was stamped out, and I also wasn't sure how this was going to stamp out on the black cardstock. So I wanted to see that before I got too far into the design, and then kind of wished I had done something different. So you could stamp this out and do it in the same one step, and which would make this even faster, to make this kind of like a mass-produced card if you had a lot to make, because it's the same stamping, it's just on two different colors of cardstock. So I think this would be kind of a really great card to reproduce if you had to send out a lot of Christmas cards. And it's a very, I don't know if it's classic Christmas, because I mean it's white, black, and gold, but I think that's more classic Christmas than most of my Christmas cards. I have a tendency towards the more non-traditional Christmas cards, but if you have a more preference towards a more traditional color palette, this, maybe not the black, but this would be probably closer. So I also took the heart stamp out of the middle of the tree. Now, originally, when I first did this, I was going to do the black heart on top of the white cardstock and the white heart on top of the black cardstock, but it didn't quite look the way I wanted it to, and my husband didn't like it either. So he thought it looked better the more subtle route when it was on top of its own tree, or like its own color. So I stamped one out in white and one out in black, and I did this because I wanted to cut them out and pop them up. There is a matching die set, and I believe it's on sale right now as well. It's clearance. I think it's like $7 for the matching die set for this stamp set. I'm going to have to pick it up, but I don't own it. So I opted to fussy cut out the image. This would be way easier and way easier to mass produce if you had the die, because of course it just cuts out the heart. But I didn't have the die, so I opted just to fussy cut this out. And I didn't think it was too difficult. I mean, it's just a heart shape, so there's not a lot of corners or anything like that to cutting it out. And I did leave a small white border just to kind of differentiate between the tree and the heart. And I did the white one and the black one. So here, see, I thought I might do the white heart on top of the black cardstock and then the black heart on top of the white cardstock. And excuse me, my husband vetoed. So, and I agree with him. After seeing the final product, I think it looked better doing it this way. So I did use some thin 3D foam strips. I have the white ones and the black ones. And I just put a couple on the back of the heart just to add a little bit of dimension to this card. You don't need it. You could have just stamped the heart in and just had this as one element. But because it's a fairly simple card, I did want a little bit of dimension just to add a little something extra to the card. Because it is fairly simple, there's not really much going on here, which I think can be very nice in a Christmas card. I think that you can have very stunning Christmas cards with very little going on. They don't have to all be, glitter and glitz and glam and everything like that. I think you can have a very simple card and have it still be stunning. I struggle a little bit with the simple cards. I have an easier time making something with all sorts of stuff on it, but at the end of the day, sometimes it looks prettier, and I think this stamp set really lends itself to a more simplistic and elegant card, just because it's quite you have all the pieces there. I mean, that tree looks stunning, I think, and then the added heart with a little bit of dimension just really gives it a little bit of extra. And of course, because it's a simpler design, we are going to add a couple of crystals. I couldn't resist. They're clear, so they don't pull the eye too much, but they add a little bit something extra to the design. So here you can see I've just glued down my panel to my black mat, and then my black mat down to my A2 side fold card base with my favoriteest Nuvo Deluxe glue. And then I'm going to do the exact same on this black one. So which one did you prefer? Do you like the white one better, or do you like the black one better? I like them both, but I think I always end up going back to like a white panel with a black mat rather than, say, this black one. But that's, I think, personal preference. I think they both turned out quite pretty, and you could absolutely do this in so many different colors of cardstock, red and green and navy and, any color, really, and you'd get a stunning card. And you could also emboss this. Like, if you didn't want to stamp in the, say, like the golden glitz ink, you could emboss it, or you could use some distress oxide inks. I think that would look really pretty as well, and add so many different colors you could bring in. So I think this is kind of a very versatile design that really you could use pretty much any medium to create. I think it would still look pretty stunning. So I did opt to bring in 5 crystals, and I kind of lined them up on a diagonal around the tree just to kind of add a little bit extra. And of course this glue will dry back clear. You won't be able to see it once it's under those crystals. I know you can see it right now on the black cardstock, but you won't be able to see it once it's dry. And they're mostly dry here in a second when I hold up the 2 cards so you can see them. There's just one on the bottom there. You can still see a little bit. But that is week 8 of my Christmas card series. I'd love to know what you guys think. Leave me a comment, leave me a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'd love if you'd consider subscribing. I have a new video every Monday, and there's of course a few extras added in there just for fun throughout the week. So thank you so much, guys, and I cannot wait until I see you again. Bye-bye.